Yo, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well, man. Thank you guys so much, guys, for hitting me up in my last couple of streams, man. You guys have been hitting me up in the comments. You are so appreciated. I appreciate that so much, guys. I appreciate that so much. Give yourselves a round of applause, man, for that, man. Thank you guys so much, man, for supporting the channel, and showing you guys so much love, guys, within the Cash App. Thank you guys so much, man, for hitting me up in the Super Chat. You guys are awesome. Man. Keep hitting me up in the comments. The love is much appreciated, guys. The love is much appreciated. I hope you guys are doing well, man. Look here, on to business. Candace Owens, man, which is one of my favorite female content creators of the day today, because Candace is one of the very few females in this whole creative space, man, that keeps it real, man. Am I right, guys? Yes, sir. She is a gem for our society, man. And Candace Owens got into it with this sex worker, man, that by the name of Olivia Bentley, guys. And I want you guys to check this out. When she she met up with this girl on the whatever podcast. If you guys don't remember, if you don't, I'm going to give you a refresher. All right. Without further ado, man, let's get back into it.
Good times.
Yeah.
Is that pretty accurate? I mean, you save marriages by having sex with the husband?
Well, I think the tabloids went a little crazy.
Oh,
with the whole, but
New York Post is known to,
they really, went wild with it. But I do help a lot of couples that come in. One right now is asking me to lend a hand, and he's more of a beta, and she'd like him to be more of an alpha, and she wants me to work with him on being more just outwardly in control and aggressive in the bedroom, things like that. There's a lot of different psychological needs and reasons why people would want to come and work with professional sex worker.
Sure. Candace, it seemed like maybe you had something.
I think
on
it's
this.
the most outrageous thing I've ever heard. It's so in the realm of like dragons and mythological creatures that it's hard to respond to the idea.
Candace already getting started. Am I right, guys? She's already getting started. It's so interesting, man, that black women out here just don't like Candace Owens. I don't get it. Let's go.
That she's saving marriages. It's just...
You're in disbelief.
I'm actually in utter
disbelief
that she is saving marriages.
Here's another example.
Sure.
Okay.
So and there's multiple clients that do this, where the wife will not have sex anymore. She went and said, look, when they were courting each other, she was down for sex. She was a sexual person. She was all about it. Then let's fast forward, they're married. We're married now. Contract solidified. I don't want to have sex anymore. Ew, oral sex is gross. Oh, that's demeaning if you're asking me to do that.
So you're not saving marriages, you're helping people to keep up a farce that they are in a marriage. Because at the very moment that you let someone else into your marriage, it's no longer a marriage.
No.
Yeah.
And these women have turned around and said, I will allow you to see a professional.
So they are not in a marriage. That's the point.
They're married.
As soon as you lend
some of
your
their
spouse
wives
out,
are like dying from cancer and this, that, and the other. And
if I'm dying from cancer and my
somebody
husband
sleeps
goes
with
to
somebody
sleep with
else,
somebody, I swear to God.
And their wives are the ones that come.
Yeah, this is how they do when they get offended. All of them start talking at the same time. Am I right, guys? But guys, Candace is about to get in and roast like you don't know what. Let's get it, guys. Let's get it.
Just one at a time, please. Candace, were you...
I just would like to make the point that at the very moment that you loan your spouse out, especially if you're dying of cancer, so that they can get off, you're no longer in a marriage. So it's just a farce. It's like it's a comical, you're pretending for people that you're in a marriage, that you're in a loving relationship. That's not what a marriage is. So to say that I help marriages, no, you help destroy marriages, and they can go out and say that we're still married because what we've done is we've essentially said, you take care of this aspect of the marriage. It's like saying, you raise the kids, you have sex with him. This isn't a marriage. It's the whole thing is fake, right?
Yes, sir. Give it up for Candace. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Guys, is Candace on point or what? Yes, sir. She's definitely on point. Definitely on point, man. This is what I'm talking about. That particular episode of the Whatever Podcast went viral because Candace let these women have it. Well, it got so crazy. It got so crazy until actually Candace went and invited this girl by the name of Olivia Bentley on, who was on the Whatever Podcast. She invited her on to her actual show, and they had an actually one-on-one sit down. And man, let me tell you something, man. When I saw this, man, I was cracking up because this woman was so uncomfortable in her seat. Without further ado, man, we're going to get to it, guys. I want you to check this out. You guys ready for this or what, huh? Yeah, let's get it. Don't forget, guys, to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Hit your boy up in the comments, man, and I will hit you back. Thank you again, guys, for so much support. All right, let's go.
The majority of my couples coming in are wanting to celebrate. They want to celebrate their anniversaries. And I know to you, you're probably cringing because, from your conservative viewpoint, you're like, oh, that's a terrible idea. They literally want to celebrate their anniversaries and their birthdays and like Valentine's Day weekend. It's huge for us. And that to me, it's an honor. I can think of some really hot situations that happened when I was booked for anniversaries with some amazing, amazing people. And it was really flattering that they wanted to share that moment with me. They're never going to forget me. And they probably think I've long forgot them, and I haven't. Yeah. Because of what they were celebrating, So a lot of times it's an entertainment thing as well. It's kind of like perceived as like a luxury wellness session where we can go play out this really fun fantasy, and then I'll do like a couples massage. I will do a bona fide massage afterwards. So then you have your blissful sauna stuff, and then you can go off and, they can go continue. Usually they're vacationing, they're flying in from everywhere. Yeah. Now, on the single guys, there are women, it's called the hall pass, and this is not uncommon. And it's just something that people don't talk about. But the hall pass is when, that longstanding joke, oh yeah, if you want your sex life to die, go get married, right? There's always these jokes about that. So it's like that, where the woman, and I hear story after story about it, and to be fair, maybe the man needs to put more effort into things as well. But where they're together, and she's flipped the script, and she's no longer interested in sex. And when they were recording, and, she was into it, and then she turns around after they get married and says, I don't like doing oral. That's to me, it's gross. Or that's demeaning that you're asking me to do this. And then he's getting sex no more than once or twice a month. But what they do love about each other is that if they're running a business successfully, or they love the fact that they're great parents, they don't want a divorce. But she'll say, I'm going to let you go to one of the legal brothels because they're tested. They don't have any emotions in the game. They're not going to try to steal you. They're not going to try to have an emotional affair with you. That's one of the things that when people get into these circumstances, they don't want someone to go off and have an emotional affair and then run away and leave. So the hall pass is actually a common thing. And women will email in. Women have emailed in and said, yo, this is, me and so, and I want you to know this is what we're doing.
When I hear you talk about these circumstances, and it seems like you always want to bring up the couples, you always want to, formalize it as, well, I'm helping certain people, or they're reaching out to me, and these situations are the ones that I deal with. I almost feel like you're trying to justify your line of work, and that there is an element of it that is dishonest, because everybody knows that the majority of people that go to prostitutes are men, and you kind of skate over that, and you don't really want to talk about.
Go right to it.
Yeah, but you don't want to talk about the more important elements. Like, I'm sure there are exceptions, there are people, and I don't cringe at it. I just don't consider those people to be married. I considered it to be a complete farce and a fraud, as I said on the Whatever podcast. It is fraudulent to say that you are in a marriage and then to give your partner to somebody else. It means that the word marriage really has no meaning for you. And that's largely the society that we live in today, where we are taking words that once meant something and we're trying to update them and make them progressive to fit the times. And anybody can be in a marriage, even if we're not doing anything or acting like we are in a marriage. So I don't cringe at it. I just think this couple is a fraud. They're frauds.
Candace cooking. Is she cooking, guys, or what, huh? Yeah, she cooking. Yeah, she cooking, guys. And look, here's another thing I noticed too about Candace, man. If you look at her body language, man, she is not really into this particular guest. You can look at her and tell, man, guys, don't forget, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, man. Let's get back to it, guys. But if you just look at her body language, man, she's not into this particular guest. Let's get to it.
But to get to you and my interest in that, when you're publicly interfacing, you always talk about these couples and these scenarios, but you don't want to push and talk about the fact that men are right now struggling in this country, especially in this country, with porn addiction, with sex addiction, because I spend my time doing almost the opposite work and opening that conversation with pornography and looking at the comments of young men who write and say how hard it is for them, how sex addiction has ruined their life, because I personally know people who have ruined their own lives. I think it would be hard to gather the statistic of how many men want to admit to, watching pornography and being addicted to it. It's a hard statistic to grab. It is. People are not going to be honest about things that they do in the dark, right? But I can just tell you, I have entire episodes on pornography, and you are welcome to go look at all the YouTube comments of men thanking me for opening the conversation, for having the courage to have the conversation. It's the reason why they liked Dr. Jordan Peterson. It's the reason why they like Andrew Tate, because these men are opening the conversation on how pornography is actually weakening men and enslaving them, and in many ways. And so it's been interesting to me as somebody who is fascinated in how we have desensitized people to sex and how men are quite literally being slaved by an over pornographic society, rather, to sit across from you and to have you just skirt over that. We're talking about addiction, and I would hope that you would have compassion for that because you were married to somebody who had an addiction. You know what addiction means.
And this is the job of Lucifer in the first place, man. This is the job of Lucifer in the first place, man, is to get you to pervert everything that God created. This is the job of Lucifer in the first place, man. And people are actually out here falling for it, hook, line, and sinker, man. I have to give it up for Candace Owens, man, by staying out here and doing God's work. Am I right, guys? Huh? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is, man, we are off the rockers, man, and I'm happy for people like Candace Owens out here. If you disagree, hit me up in the comments. If you agree, hit me up in the comments. Let's talk about it. I ain't scared of y'all. Let's get back to it. Let's roll. Let's roll.
It is an
and
impulse that you can't fight. And it's not just the people, when you say, oh, well, I turn down the ones that, if they say I barely have any money, that's the guy that's already ruined his life. But what about the guy who has an unlimited resources of money, right? Who comes to you and says, I'll pay anything. That's also addiction. I'll pay you this. I'll, just give me what I need.
They're not all suffering from.
And look at that face. She'll take the money too. She'll take the money. Boy, you can tell when Lucifer has gotten a hold of these people, man, they just look so worn out, man. Am I right, guys, huh? Yeah, boy, look at that face. Man, good Lord. Lady of the night for real. Let's go.
From sex addiction.
But how do you know that? How do you know that? Because I would say
they tell me. They tell me what their frequency.
Did your husband tell everyone about his drinking?
Well, they're pretty honest, because once you get behind closed
addicts
doors
are
with
never
us,
honest.
I'll tell you,
addicts are never honest. That's a part of addiction, is lying.
I'll tell you, I've had Marines and I've had Army men break down and cry to me because I offered them a safe space. My space is so safe. I have people opening up on lots of different fronts, and mom's the word. I don't ever, out my people. And I've had some pretty amazing moments. I've been given in Afghanistan an American flag that was during the Afghani war flown over Afghanistan because I provided a really good service to somebody suffering from post-trauma. I do a 25% off anytime special for law enforcement and veterans. And I even have people in law enforcement emailing me, even if they're not partaking, thanking me for that because of all the crap that they get and all the things that they see and how well I'm trying to take care of them. One of the brothel owners over in Nevada is former law enforcement. And when she asked me to come to her tour, she called all of her cop friends. They would like to see it decriminalized. They want to go after the pimps and the human traffickers, and they don't want the girls reprimanded for this. They like us too. They see the value in what we do.
Yeah, so what I would say is that we are offering them, especially when you use an example of a former veteran giving you a flag. That saddens me.
And a Purple Heart.
Yeah, it really saddens me that someone would give you those items that have real meaning, and they would give
Why?
it to
I'm very honored.
to a prostitute.
And I'm very grateful.
I understand you're honored.
Did
but
you
what,
know
what I
that-
think that what you're offering them is a drug. So it's no different than them going to drink at a bar. Sex is addicting. So it's not for them going to drink at a bar. It's no different than them finding a drug addict, somebody that's willing to get high with them all night and snort cocaine to deal with their PTSD.
Well, that's not what I do.
Candace Flamin'. Candace Flamin'. Am I right, guys? Yes, sir. Once again, like I keep saying, man, Candace is doing God's work out here in these streets, man. Yes, sir. Give it up for her, guys. Am I right or what? For real, for real, for real. Don't forget, guys, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, man. We're going to keep this thing rolling, guys. We're going to keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. Come on, Candace, get her.
And that's not what any of the providers that I know of do.
I'm saying sex is in and of itself a type of drug. It is addicting. People become addicts, right? And so for you to, something that makes you so happy that these people are coming to you makes me sad, because this means that this is how they are dealing with their trauma. They're dealing with their trauma sexually by having sex with a stranger.
It's healing.
I don't think that's healing.
What about the quadriplegics that are coming in? Are they horrible people? Are they
leaving walking?
They're coming.
Then it's not healing to have sex with a prostitute.
They really, really want to have an intimate experience with the woman, and for whatever reason, they can't. They can't at home because they're bound to a wheelchair. We have parents bringing these kind of individuals in, wanting them to get a wellness session, in essence.
Okay, well, I know quadriplegics who have served the nation and lost both of their legs, who are married and happy with children.
That's
as
fantastic. Again, it's to each their own. I'm not judging
them.
them.
And I'm sorry to cut you off. You keep mining these exceptions, and I think it's because you do hold and harbor some guilt. And I think you do know that there are a lot of men that are broken that are coming to see you, and and you can definitely correct me. Obviously, you think that I'm wrong here, but when I hear you talking about these circumstances, what you're describing to me are men that are desperate and men that need real healing. And you are never going to find real healing at the bottom of a bottle, a la your ex-husband, or with a prostitute.
Is Candace flaming or what, guys? She got her feeling uncomfortable like my grandmother Dottie B. I love it, I love it, I love it. This is how it is when people are in the hot seat today. They just can't take the heat. Let's get it, let's get it.
All in the same vein.
In some cases, but for them, if if you want to come in and get a wellness session through the Bible, because your whole, front is that, you're going to the Bible, you're doing this conservative stuff. Prostitutes were popular in the Bible. I mean, I went and I took a look, and I'm like, what in the world's going on here?
Did you guys see Candace's face? It's like, oh no, this chick isn't trying to go to the Bible. Make it make sense, but I'm trying to say, guys, am I right or what? Man, Candace's body language, man, says it all. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Because I'm curious what she's going to say. Guys, don't forget, hit me up in the comments. Hit me up in the comments. I will hit you back. Let's roll.
Here. So I went and I kind of took a gather at it.
Did you say prostitutes were popular in the Bible?
Yeah, they're mentioned. They're mentioned on multiple fronts. So I'll get into it.
But when you say popular, what do you mean by that?
I'll go right into these verses for you. But just to let you know, like, I am very spiritually agnostic. So and I've done a lot of world religion classes as electives. So to even bring the Bible in, I know you will. That's what your base wants, but
you actually brought the Bible in. So.
I'm going to bring it in. But for me, I need a logical, I just need a logical barometer to go off of, a common sense logical barometer to go off of when we're discussing yay or nay on sex work. But like to make my point, like in Chronicles, so King David had like 8 wives, okay, right? And concubines are sex workers. And he had so many sex workers that he couldn't even keep count. So his body count was apparently way higher than mine, and God condoned it. And then King Solomon, he married his own daughter, which God condoned. He had 700 wives. He had 300 sex workers, all of which God condoned. So And then we know, with the history of the courtesan and that they were at the top of the food chain back then, whereas the wives were like toddlerized, couldn't own property, and they were at home being made to feel like children. But then if you go to Deuteronomy 22, 28 through 29, God instructing a rapist to marry his victim, and they're not even role playing. Genesis 19:16, Lot's wife got turned into a pillar of salt. Okay. Genesis, just in general, Adam and Eve, they have 2 males. So we're apparently all descendants from incest, apparently. And
guys, and this one thing I want you guys to know, man. Let me just put this on the main screen right quick, just so you guys know, man. When it comes to the Bible, Lucifer knows the Bible better than you. Am I right, guys? So why wouldn't he get out here and twist it up so you guys can get all mingled up and end up like this chick? Make it make sense. Guys, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're going to get back into this heat, man. We're going to get back into this. It is so important, guys, that you do not be deceived out here in the Matrix today. It's crazy out here, man. Let's get it. Let's get it.
And then Adam and Eve raised a murderer as the first humans on Earth. It's like, okay, well, that's bad luck. So I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater on all of religious messaging. I think you can take some nice stuff from all of them. And I worked with a close-knit group of Mormons. There's a lot of Mormons that occupy the Boise area when I was doing white-collar work. And, I love them to death. Their sense of family and unification. They are fantastic people. But some of the things that they've got going on in their Bible, I'm just like, goodness gracious. But there's things that they believe that I think is good. I need something common sense.
You got to process, right, Ken? You got to process all that, right, Candace? It just don't make sense, man. It don't make sense. Let's get it.
Like if I'm spiritually, if I'm very spiritual and agnostic,
okay. So I'm going to just back us up because I don't want the chats and the comments to be mocking you because I think that you've been.
Oh, that's fine. They're going to mock me no matter what.
Agnostic. You obviously are not well read in the Bible. You probably did a Google search just for mentions of prostitution and mentions of concubines, right? Because you thought that I was going to throw out some Christian rhetoric at you.
Uh-oh, she's flaming her again. Flaming her again. Here we go. Am I right, guys? I'm telling you, this is what I like about Candace. She don't just yell at you. She just kind of throw it at you on the slide and throw salt into that womb that she tore open on you, right? Let's go.
I would very much be open to suggesting that you enter an actual Bible study to understand the things that you're bringing up sort of sporadically here. But suffice it to say that the Bible's messaging and God's messaging is not that prostitutes are good and that it's good to have concubine relationships.
Didn't he love Mary Magdalene? Can
Yes.
you tell me the story of that?
Yeah. And by the way, here's a wonderful series if you'd rather stay cultural on these things. If you watch The Chosen, he heals her. And that you understand that Jesus was a healer. And I would love for you to be healed in your assessments of what it means to be a sex worker, because I do think that you do need Christ. And that's, I told you before we started this episode, before we started this conversation rather, that I did have a former sex worker who did the exact opposite as you. She was a porn star, she was on Pornhub, and then she found Jesus Christ and she started studying the Bible.
I watched it. She was supposedly on a plane and God started talking to her.
And I think that could happen for you as well. And so, yes, there are mentions of prostitutes in the Bible. Yes, God has healed prostitutes, and there is no reason ever that any real Christian should ever say to you that your life is over and that you can't transform and that you can't similarly be healed by God's word. And I want that for you in the same way that I wanted that for the girl that I was sitting across for meaningfully. But
this girl is on a whole other level. She gonna need more than that. She gonna need the holy oil in a spray bottle. Am I right, guys? This is one of Lucifer's finest right here who Candace sitting across from. For real. Let's go.
I was definitely not going to try to throw you off and have a theological debate with you about the things that you're doing because, as you said, you haven't presented yourself as a Christian, so I don't find you to be living hypocritically in any means, and I don't think that would have been fair. I did with the girl who said she was wearing the cross and said that she was raised a Catholic, she knew what she was saying, and she obviously knew what she was trying to be, as I said before, perverse, and she was trying to be provocative by taking a shot and saying that the cross is just a cute thing. So she got a little bit more of my ire that the other people didn't.
I could see that.
But
to be honest, I think the aliens would be able to make more sense of it all. So I'm on wait and watch. And as more information unfolds throughout the years, I'll make better sense of life.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable being there.
But
I'm
really,
not scared.
Since you brought up scripture, and I wasn't going to bring up scripture, like I do want to just reiterate to you that nobody is perfect. I've had a very troubled life. You know, my life was not easy for me. I could have ended up maybe like you know, you never know. But I was, in a way, saved before I was saved because I had my grandparents who were devout Christians and who required that we do a Bible study every morning before we went to school. And I think that those things in many ways served as seeds that later grew in my adult life. And I hope that since you're expressing even an interest, if you even just Googled passages about prostitution, that you won't stop there, and that you try Bible study. You know, see what you learn from it. Have someone sit down from you, start from Genesis, jump into Exodus, to go into Deuteronomy, and really understand the true context of the things that you're pulling up.
This girl needs way more than church, for real. This girl needs tent revivals, and she needs to be baptized every night like we came up. Am I right, guys? Because she know all about this right here. She know all about them flames because she cousins with Lucifer. She need tent revival. Real talk. Guys, don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, man. Hit your boy up in the comments. I will hit you back. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. And once again, thank you guys so much for all your input on my last episodes. I will be hitting you back, all right, if I haven't. So let's get back to it.
But again, I wasn't going to present that to you as a challenge, so I think that would not have been fair. But I want to talk to you about your son, because you mentioned that you got into the sex industry because you had to take care of your son and you wanted to spend more time with your son. And in doing just kind of a background check into you, doesn't seem like you and your son live in the same state. Is that correct?
We do. He's always lived with me.
He's always lived with you?
Yeah, he's there.
Okay. How has your particular work impacted his life? How old is your son?
He is 21, and he just didn't learn until now. He knows I'm on the show. He's very supportive, and he knows now this was the year. And he loves me so much. I mean, we are so passionate. We get so emotional. I mean, we get us in a room, we'll start hugging, we start crying. He'll just say, you know, you've been a dad and a mom to me.
Mm-hmm. So he still lives with you?
He has his own place. He's a chef. He's a chef and a drummer and an amazing guy. But you know, at this point, he's just now getting out on his own. He was a senior during COVID at a private school, a project-based school that Stanford modeled, where he would work with the community CEOs to gain his high school credits. So he built community quite quickly and went off and started working, because during COVID, Idaho was pretty free, and that's why a lot of people were coming over, because of the way we handled COVID. A lot of people weren't even masking up, and he took off into the workforce.
Imagine this as your mom. Real talk. Am I right, guys? Look at that soggy mouth. Real talk. Oh, my God. Man, I'd be in jail. Real talk. The minute somebody says something about my mom like this, real talk, guys. Oh, my. And now she's on the Candace Owens show. Now everybody know what my mom is. Don't make any sense. Let's get it. Let's go.
When other people were saying, when older people are saying, let's jump on welfare, or let's jump on unemployment, rather.
So your decisions haven't impacted his life at all?
Yeah,
no, I would say that. No, I wouldn't say that it's been damaging to him. I think that he's had some really good male role models in his life, because that is key. Because for me as a mom, the Mother's Guild is like, oh, I want to, I wish love would strike me, because then, I can give my son Christian a father. But he's had, we put him in a lot of mentoring programs. One of his mentors had been a bachelor on the show The Bachelor. He's a really funny guy. So he's assigned mentors and big brothers. And then my father is a great influence. And he continues to be a great influence and very important person in our lives on the daily.
She capping. I'm sorry. She capping. Because she just said a couple of seconds ago that she's been his mother and father. Make it make sense. Am I right, guys? For real. Yeah, she capping right now. She reaching. She's straight reaching. Let's go.
And then my brother-in-law is also a fantastic guy that has spent a great deal of time with my son. So, no, I really don't. And I've even asked him, and and we'll get counseling. I mean, we'll get counseling and we'll talk things out and flesh things out, and really no.
So if he's watching this, he's saying, my mom is being 100% honest, and I'm proud of her, and I'm proud of the work that she does. And
what's fascinating about him, he's his own individual, right? He's not into social media, whereas I've got to go market on it, which social media is like, ugh. And so he's not a big fan of social media, which I
bet he's not into social media. Look who his mom is. Am I right, guys? Oh, man. Good Lord. Man.
I think is really healthy. And he does that on his own. And then he's a one-person kind of guy. He's into monogamy.
I bet he is.
And so
Look at you.
Always tells me he is looking forward to being a father. Mm-hmm. I had him run my art studio, and we were doing these art parties for children. And he and his girlfriend, who was the key artist, and we would do community classes and whatnot. They had a ball. And he likes kids. I mean, he works with kids. He's been a paid basketball coach. And he'll say, I look forward to making you a grandmother when the time's right later. I want kids. I want to get married. That's my son, his authentic individual self. And then he respects me for my individual self.
But his friends could book you.
No.
Well,
never.
They can.
Well,
Candace did it again. She throwing curveballs. Am I right, God? That is what I love about Candace. Yeah, but his sons could book you. What a curveball. Let's go.
They won't, and they don't.
Okay, but they could, in theory.
Well, if they wanted to attempt, but they wouldn't.
Yes, they would.
Why are you so sure that they wouldn't?
Right.
Because I've been like a mom to them.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I've been like a mother to these.
So he never faced any teasing from boys saying, "I could book your mom tonight."
No.
And sleep with your mom.
Nope.
Okay, and so in the way that you
dealt with that junk,
in the way that you market yourself on social media, your son and his life is not a consideration.
It has not been an issue, and he has reaffirmed, and so have, my supporters, my counselor, that I have nothing to be ashamed of.
Okay.
So I mean,
because your Twitter feed is
it's very graphic.
Pretty explicit. It's you giving
it is explicit. So
jobs
obviously,
to men.
Yes.
It's porn. I mean, it's
correct.
It's just porn.
It's yeah.
So but that you're saying has no impact on your 21-year-old son. That you can just go to a public Twitter feed and see his mother saying like, "I'm going to take a big black cock," which is something that you've tweeted.
Yes.
No, doesn't impact your son.
No.
She capping again. Am I right, guys? And Candace is still roasting up in this joint. She's still roasting. Let's get it.
Well, first of all, I'm shadow banned.
Is not going to think that you're being a little dishonest right now.
Look, my son's not out there looking for my porn, and neither are his friends. Nobody says anything to him, and people are welcome to think what they think. People could harshly judge you and think your children are going to have problems in the future because of what you've done in terms of false narratives. Going after that individual that did not shoot up the Robb Elementary School and putting them on blast, like there's a ton.
Robb Elementary School?
Yeah, all the news reports about how you had falsely accused a trans individual of being the killer.
I think you're confused. I think you're talking about the Texas Elementary School.
Yes.
And the
Is that
photos of the kids
Yes,
it was the correct person that I identified. We were having a debate about whether or not this kid had gender identity issues, which has never actually been answered.
Okay.
They just said conservatives think he's trans. There's not enough evidence for that. Other people are saying that he just liked to wear eyeliner. I didn't identify the wrong person. So
Okay,
I don't.
that's
I think
good.
my kids will be pretty
Okay, good.
with the correct person.
And you weren't
named in the
insulting
shooting.
somebody who's in a wheelchair that represents Skims. Like there's a model and there's stuff out there that are saying that you insulted the Skims model and
No, we
she's
were
in a wheelchair.
No, not because she was in a wheelchair.
Okay, because there's like that's out there.
Yeah. Definitely, I think media getting a story wrong about a debate about whether or not somebody is trans, or whether or not we covered on the show whether people are pandering when they start doing these sorts of disabled commercials is a little bit different than saying like, watch me swallow this big black cock. Can you agree? That's a little different for a boy growing up. Like
Once again, she's real. Am I right, guys? Guys, all you got, like I said, body language says it all. And if you can just pay attention to Candace's body language, man, she is not into this particular guest. Am I right, guys? For real, she's not into her. She's not into her, man. She's not. Guys, once again, thank you so much, guys, for coming in for another episode, guys. I think the key point to this particular episode is this, man. Once a good girl has gone bad, they can never come back. Am I right, guys? Am I right, Ellsworth? With that being said, guys, thank you so much, guys, for coming into another episode, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Hit me up in the comments, guys. Hit the notification bell so this gets out to the masses, so your boy gets pushed more through the algorithm. Thank you, guys, so much. I am out of here. I will see you guys Monday at 2 p.m. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.